Hey planner friends! Welcome back to my channel. Better late than never, but today I'm finally going to be setting up my March monthly in my Hemlock Oak weekly. Let's get started. So the kit that I'm using for the month of March is the Flowers Monthly from Plannerface. I do PR for Plannerface, so you can use my code in the description to save yourselves a little bit of money and also mention me for a freebie. As this is the first monthly that I'm filming in my Hemlock and Oak weekly, this might seem a little bit disjointed, but hopefully it makes sense. I am doing it in like chronological order of when the pages appear in my planner. So I'm starting off with the 2 pages that come before the calendar page in the planner, and on the blank page on the right hand side I'm essentially making a cover page for the month of March. So I've got some vellum from Paper Chase and I've just stuck a big rectangle of that down with some craft paper and some stickers from the monthly kit. So I've taken 2 of the decorative boxes and also 2 of the skinny washi strips to just decorate around that page. The vellum looked a little bit scrunched up when I first put it down because I had originally stuck it down with double-sided sticky tape, but you could really clearly see the bits of sticky tape underneath it because this is vellum and not just patterned paper, which is what I thought I bought when I bought it. So I had to peel it up and then peel the double-sided sticky tape off the back of it, so it got a little bit squished up. The left-hand page of this spread is basically my goal setting for the month, so I've covered up the habit tracker section on the bottom with my habit tracker that I just make in Excel and print off on sticker paper myself, and as you can see I've been using it throughout the month before I actually set this month up in my planner because I didn't want to have to go back in and colour in all of the little boxes when I finally got around to laying this down in my planner. I'm not actually going to be adding in any of my goal setting stuff in this video, but I am just starting off a little mind map in the top left hand corner which I'm going to use for my goal setting for the month, and then we can move on to the calendar spread. So this calendar spread is going to be much more of what you would kind of expect from one of my monthly spreads in my passion planner. I'm essentially using it in the same way as I used my passion planner. So I'm starting off by colouring in the top row of squares on each of the boxes with my theme colour for the month of March, which is a vintage moss passion marker. I can't say that, it's so difficult to say. But anyway, the top of the calendar boxes being coloured in means that I'm not in work that day. This is the first monthly kit from Plannerface that has the dates separate to the actual date strips, which is super helpful for this planner because for my February setup I cut up the date covers so that they would individually cover each square because they were way too far spaced apart. So for this spread I've just trimmed the date cover section off of the main washi headers, and I'm using the washi header to cover up the days that aren't in the month of March, and I've used the date strips to cover up the date covers at the top, and I'll add the months in a second. The boxes of this calendar layout are also a little bit tall for the monthly washi strip just as they were in the passion planner, so I'm filling in that little bit of space underneath with the glitter strips from the kit. I can then add in all of the days of the week to my date cover section, and honestly this is the perfect change for the monthly kit for me because otherwise it just does not fit in this planner. Working anti-clockwise around the spread, I'm then going to turn my planner on its side so that I can add in the decorative sidebar. So you may notice that I'm using the entire decorative sidebar for this planner, and I'm just trimming a little bit off the side so that I have a little bit of white space between the decorative sidebar and the start of the calendar boxes, and I will eventually fill in that little bit of space at the bottom with a bit of washi from the kit. I found that the date flags from the monthly kit are just too chunky for the size of the boxes in this planner, so I'm pulling out these different date dots which are also from Plannerface, and now I'm just adding in that little bit of washi in the corner. I'm not using the 6th week of this planner spread at all, so I'm having a notes section on the left hand page and I'm having my step tracker on the right hand page, so I've just put like a 0 to 10,000 steps and then all of the days of the month along the bottom. And then we're going to flip over to the final page in March and set up my March review page as well. Don't worry, I will go back and fill in all of my plans for the month of March after we've set up these pages. So for the review section, I'm pretty much sticking with the questions that are asked in the review, and I've just added some of the decorative boxes from the monthly kit around and also some of the vellum from Paper Chase. And then on the right hand side of this spread I'm going to set up for my gratitude and favourites page. So for my gratitude I used to have this on my weekly calendar every week, and you may have noticed that it is not fitting in my weekly calendar in this planner, so I'm just going to have it all in one monthly block at the end of the month, and that kind of feeds into that March review section as well. I lettered the headers for this page using my Tombow Fudnosky pen just on some white sticker paper and then cut them out and stuck them in because I didn't want to make any mistakes with my hand lettering and then it just be on the sticker and me not be able to change it. So the two washi headers for this page are also from the monthly kit. The top one is one of the big washi headers from the top of the calendar spread, and then the second one is just from the box covers. I wasn't sure whether to call this section favourites or memories. I went with favourites because memories didn't always work, but also favourites doesn't always work. So I've got things that I watched this month, listened to, things I felt, things I lifted, things I ate, and things that I worked on. So basically this right hand page will fill up over the course of the month, and then at the end of the month I fill in the left hand page for my overall review of the month. So now that I have my final spread of the month set up, I can go back and fill in all of my plans for the month. So I'll flip back to the calendar and start putting some stickers down for my plans for the month of March. So on the 1st, it was St David's Day. I'm adding a solid piece of washi from the kit to mark that in as a holiday. And then I've cut some of the fancy labels from the monthly kit in half, and I'm adding in credit card doodles from Plannerface to mark in all of my bills for the month. Size-wise, these boxes are a little bit narrower than the Passion Planner ones, but they are about the same height because you don't have so much space for stuff underneath the calendar spread. So I am having to trim them a little bit more, but honestly, it's still trimming a sticker. It's what I do every month anyway. On Thursday, I just had another bill due, so I'm marking that in with half a fancy label and another credit card doodle. And then on Friday, I'm using one of the bin doodles from the kit to mark in that it is our bin day, and a skinny event label with a phone doodle from the kit to mark in a meeting that I had at work. Moving on to Saturday the 4th, I'm using a regular event label and a smoothie doodle from Plannerface to mark in team training. I'm running out of the dumbbell doodles that match the colours of kit, so I really need to stock up on those. So for now, I'm going to do a mix of dumbbell doodles and smoothie doodles, depending on what colours I need. On the 6th, I also went to team training, so again, I'm going to use a regular event label and a dumbbell doodle. And then I've also pulled out my usual round laptop icons to mark in days where I'm working from home. On the 8th, it was International Women's Day, so I'm using another solid piece of washi to mark that in. And then I'm using a long flag and a pencil doodle from the kit, not to mark in Duty Scientist like I normally do, but to mark in a long day of shadowing because I'm still doing my oncology rotation this month. On Thursday the 9th, I'm marking in another bill and another work from home day, and then on Friday the 10th, I'm marking in another meeting that I had at work. This time I'm using an envelope doodle from the kit because there's only 2 phone doodles and it didn't match the colour of the skinny event label that I used, and then I'm also using a bin doodle to mark in that it's bin day and then moving everything around so that the doodles are on different sides. On the 11th, it will surprise no one that I'm using a regular event label and a dumbbell doodle to mark in that I went to team training again. I think I'm getting a bit too repetitive, but I do have some annual leave later this month, so I am going to be changing things up a little bit then. Although I was planning to go away, abroad on that weekend, but then I remembered how much my portfolio is going to cost to submit, and I was like, I can't afford to go away. On the 15th, we have a whole lab meeting, and we very rarely have those, so I figured it was quarter box worthy. I'm marking it in with a planner doodle from the kit because I figured I'll be taking my planner to it to make notes or whatever. And then on the 16th, I'm working from home again, so I'm adding in another icon, and the 17th is St Patrick's Day, so I'm using another solid piece of washi to mark that in. I also have a meeting at work that day that I've completely forgot to add into this spread. It's already in my weekly layout for this week though. The 18th is a bit of a squished up day, so I'm using a quarter box with the wine glasses doodle from the kit to mark in that I'm going to my friend's birthday party this evening, and then I'm also going to team training in the afternoon, so I'm using an event label with another smoothie doodle from Plannerface to mark that in. And then the 19th is my friend's actual birthday, so I'm using this paint swatch with a birthday present doodle from the kit to mark that in. Side note, I love the inclusion of the paint swatches in the monthly kit. That is great for marking in birthdays, I think. And then this Sunday is also Mother's Day in the UK. I know that the American one is in May and it always freaks me out every year, but this is the UK one, so I'm marking it in with a quarter box and a bow doodle from the kit. On Monday the 20th, I'm starting the second part of my oncology rotation, so I spent the first 3 weeks with 2 of the teams in the section, and then I'm spending the second 3 weeks with the other 2 teams from the section, so I figured I'd mark that in with a quarter box and the book doodle from the kit. I'm then using the piggy bank doodle to mark in that the 21st is payday, and then also because I'm not in work the next day, I decided I would go to team training, so I'm using an event label with a dumbbell doodle from Plannerface to mark that in. So although I've already said that for this week that I've got off, I'm not going abroad, I am going to do some fun stuff. I've got one thing planned so far, and this is what I'm using, this half box from the kit to mark in. And basically me and my mum are probably going to go to Bath and go to the spa because I feel like we need a bit of a chill day. The doodle that I've used there is from a self-care sampler from Plannerface, so I figured that fit pretty perfectly with a spa day. And then on the Saturday, I am of course going to team training again. There's been a lot of team training this month, but it's so much better than going to my regular gym to do Olympic weightlifting where all the Karens look at me for dropping weights. Annoyingly, our daylight savings time is different to that of the US and Canada, so theirs is marked in on the 12th because this is a Canadian planner, but ours is on the 26th, so I've used a solid bit of washi to mark that in, so it's a bit more obvious to me. And then on the 29th I have a work thing, which I'm using this stick with the Planco girl and a square box from the kit to mark. Once I've added in my last bill and work from home doodle, then we can have a flip through of my March setup. So we've got my cover page and my goal setting page for the month, which I'm really happy with, and then my monthly setup, which I will fill in off camera, and then finally my reflection page with my gratitude and favourites to fill in throughout the month. So that is it for March. Sorry it took so long, hopefully April's will be more on time. So that's everything for this video, friends. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!